For decades, Detroit symbolized the strength of American industry, an iron giant of assembly lines, steel presses, and middle-class prosperity. But today it feels less like a comeback story and more like a cautionary tale. Factory closures, layoffs, and shrinking investment have left many asking, what's really happening in Detroit? The answer, surprisingly, doesn't start in Michigan. It starts in Canada, quietly pivoting its entire industrial base. Since 2023, Canadian clean tech investments have surged past $40 billion, backed by both public subsidies and private capital. Meanwhile, U.S. manufacturers are caught in the crossfire of tariffs, union strikes, and political indecision. Ford and GM recently delayed EV rollouts. Stellantis cut 1,200 jobs in Detroit alone. And as American plants stall, Canadian provinces like Ontario and Quebec are going full speed ahead, attracting global automakers, rare earth refiners, and next-gen battery facilities. This isn't just about competition, it's a continental realignment. While the U.S. demands protectionism, Canada is quietly building the future. And Detroit? It's being left behind, not because it's weak, but because it's out of sync. Welcome to Geo Capitalist, where we decode global wealth, one power shift at a time. And today, we're unpacking what's really happening in Detroit and Canada's silent industrial pivot that no one's talking about. Because behind every collapse, there's a quiet rise somewhere else. If you're ready to follow the money, not the headlines, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. It started with steel. In 2018, the U.S. imposed 25% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security. The result? A temporary impact for U.S. producers, followed by long-term retaliation. Canada slapped back with dollar-for-dollar tariffs and quietly began reshoring its supply chains. The deeper shift, though, came after 2020, when Canada made a choice: decouple from the old U.S.-centric industrial system and create its own green manufacturing base. While American firms waited for tariff relief or new trade deals, Ottawa poured over $15 billion into clean energy infrastructure, including EV battery hubs in Windsor and Saint-Basile-le-Grand. In just 2 years, Canadian steel production from electric arc furnaces, a cleaner, cheaper method, jumped by 36%. Meanwhile, the U.S. steel sector struggled with aging plants and rising input costs. American tariffs that were supposed to protect Detroit's ecosystem instead slowed it down, making Canadian producers more attractive to international automakers. This is what economists call a policy misfire, where protectionism sparks innovation, but in the other country. And with every delay in U.S. policy coordination, Canada sharpens its advantage. This silent pivot isn't about diplomacy, it's about resilience. While Detroit lobbies for relief, Canada is already exporting solutions, and those trade routes no longer flow south. In the shadow of Detroit's decline, a new industrial corridor is rising across the border. Stretching from Windsor to Toronto, Ontario's so-called Auto Belt has become a magnet for EV and battery investments. Stellantis, Volkswagen, and Honda have all announced multi-billion-dollar factories, with Ontario alone attracting over $25 billion in auto-related capital since 2021. Why? Because Canada now offers something the U.S. can't: political clarity, skilled labor, and proximity to U.S. markets without U.S. complications. The U.S. Inflation Reduction Act created massive subsidies, but also confusion over sourcing rules, content quotas, and domestic requirements. Canada, in contrast, aligned itself with those rules and provided its own incentives. The result? A clean industrial boom north of the Great Lakes. But the bigger story is who's moving away from Detroit. Suppliers, engineers, and even family-owned machine shops are crossing the border, following demand, not nostalgia. It's a soft migration that doesn't make headlines, until it hits home. This isn't just about EVs. It's a long-term pivot in where industrial talent and capital want to go. And if the trend continues, Ontario could replace Detroit as the continent's de facto auto capital, not with noise, but with precision. Comment below, is this smart policy or quiet abandonment? The old model was simple. Detroit built the cars, and the rest of North America followed. But in today's global realignment, geography is only part of the equation. Supply chains, sustainability mandates, and tech integration now drive location decisions. And Canada, especially its southern corridor, checks every box. In 2024, Bloomberg reported that over 70% of new auto sector capital in North America was invested in Canada and Mexico, not the US. And here's why: energy. Ontario's grid is over 90% carbon-free, powered by hydro and nuclear. That's a massive edge when ESG regulations and emissions credits are factored into manufacturing costs. Meanwhile, Detroit still relies on coal for nearly a quarter of its power mix, a liability in the race for clean exports. Add to that Canada's expanding rare earth refining capacity, critical for EV batteries, and the equation shifts again. Continental manufacturing is no longer about who can build the most. It's about who can build smartest. And while U.S. trade policy talks about reshoring, Canada is already executing. This shift isn't loud, but it's real. And it explains why the question is no longer if Detroit is falling behind, but how fast. Detroit once thrived on its skilled labor force, union machinists, electrical engineers, and lifetime auto workers. But today the picture is different. Union tensions, benefit freezes, and automation anxiety have created a labor environment that's less stable, less attractive, and less scalable. In 2023, the UAW strike cost the big three automakers an estimated $10.5 billion. And with every disruption, Canada looks more like a safe haven. The Canadian government isn't just investing in infrastructure, it's investing in people. Programs like the Canada Training Benefit and Federal Skilled Trades Immigration Pathways are funneling talent directly into green manufacturing roles. Immigration, in fact, is one of the biggest differentiators. While the U.S. immigration system remains gridlocked, Canada's fast-track visas are filling gaps in AI, clean energy, and automotive tech. In Ontario, enrollment in EV-relevant trade programs jumped 40% in just 2 years. This isn't just a talent win. It's a long-term compounding advantage. As American cities struggle to retrain displaced workers, Canada is designing the next workforce from scratch. And in the race for continental industrial leadership, people, not policies, may be the ultimate edge. So the question lingers: is Detroit out of labor or out of time? Let's talk power, the literal kind, because no industrial pivot happens without energy. And Canada has quietly built a clean, reliable backbone that's attracting global investment. Quebec's hydroelectric capacity alone powers 90% of the province, while Ontario leverages a mix of nuclear and renewables. Compare that to Michigan, where energy prices are 20–30% higher and grid instability remains a recurring issue. Clean energy is no longer a moral decision. It's an economic one. Auto and tech manufacturers are following the cheapest, greenest electrons, and increasingly, those flow north. But it's not just utilities, it's incentives. Canada's Industrial Decarbonization Initiative and its $15 billion Clean Energy Fund offer clear, bankable subsidies. These aren't proposals, they're deployed. Tesla, for example, recently expanded its Canadian R&D team, citing regulatory clarity and clean grid access. Meanwhile, U.S. firms still face legislative bottlenecks at both state and federal levels. The net effect? Economic gravity is shifting, not just in headlines, but in capital flows. This is what happens when incentives align with infrastructure, and where Detroit once pulled the center of gravity, Canada now bends the arc. The pivot isn't publicized, it's engineered. So what's the US doing in response to Canada's silent industrial pivot? That's where things get complicated. Washington has signaled support for reshoring, clean manufacturing, and Buy American provisions. But on the ground, the results are mixed. The CHIPS Act and Inflation Reduction Act are ambitious, yes, but implementation is uneven. Permitting delays, state-level gridlock, and political cycles have diluted their impact. In contrast, Canada's central strategy, coordinated across federal and provincial governments, creates a clear path for investors. Even traditional Detroit players are hedging. Magna International, based in Ontario, has announced more partnerships outside the U.S. than within. Ford's Blue Oval Battery Park in Kentucky faced delays, while its Windsor counterpart accelerated. The divergence is subtle but telling. America still has the muscle, but its reflexes are slower. Some argue this is just a temporary lag. Others see a deeper issue, that U.S. industrial policy is reactive, not proactive. And, in a world where speed determines supply chain placement, hesitation costs billions. The pivot isn't just about where goods are made, it's about where certainty lives. And right now, more of that certainty is found north of the border. Detroit's story isn't over, but it's being rewritten, not just by American choices, but by Canadian strategy. As Canada builds clean factories, trains new talent, and refines its role in global supply chains, the ripple effects are already being felt across the Midwest. U.S. companies are quietly setting up Canadian subsidiaries. Former Detroit suppliers are winning Ontario contracts, and the new industrial map of North America is being drawn in silence. What's really happening in Detroit? It's not just decline, it's displacement. Not just failure, but a failure to pivot. Meanwhile, Canada is executing one of the most underreported industrial realignments on the continent. This is how manufacturing leadership shifts, not overnight, but through years of patient coordination. And while politicians debate, the markets have already decided where the momentum lies. This isn't just a Detroit story. It's a continental one, and the next chapter may not be written in English, but in policy. And there you have it. If you found this breakdown valuable, watch our next video. It connects directly to what's unfolding. And don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us decode these global shifts without compromise. Let us know in the comments. Is this a U.S. collapse or Canada's comeback? Either way, the world is watching. This was What's Really Happening in Detroit? Canada's silent industrial pivot explained. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.